Hey guys, it's Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum, fredmccoy.com. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great morning.
Today's Saturday, so we're getting ready to open the museum, and we wanted to make another video, part 2 of the one that we just made. Remember, somebody had put a Google question out there, were the Hatfields and McCoys inbred? And it said on there that the McCoys had a disease and the McCoys were this and that. And I got off topic. I started talking more about Cap Hatfield. In fact, if you go back to that first video, Sheila closed that video out and put the disclaimer up there before she put the newspaper articles and the death certificates. So on the back of that video is where Cap and Tennis actually died of brain tumors and so forth. But
Right.
which is what somebody had answered the question and said that the McCoys had because it caused them to have brain tumors. Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, I didn't answer the question specifically because I got sidetracked. But to our knowledge, there was no inbreeding. Now, you got to understand, I'll show you a paper here in a minute. Back in those days and times, people married their first cousins. It was not uncommon. Hatfields and McCoys, either party or anybody else.
Right.
A lot of people married their first cousins. That didn't make them inbred. That was legal back then. That was okay. That was okay to do.
They didn't see an issue with it.
Wasn't no issue with it
They
back
just-
then until later in life, and then they started realizing that first cousins could cause birth defects and a mental cotton top and different things like that. We're going to show you here in a minute. We done a video on it one time where Kentucky, it's now illegal in Kentucky and West Virginia and places like that to marry your first cousin. Funny thing is, the people that vote makes fun of Kentucky and West Virginia and places like that where they used to marry their cousins. It's still legal in those states for them to do it. They still do it. At least we know it's wrong now. There was only one, so to my knowledge, as far as inbreeding, fathers, daughters, mothers, sons, whatever like that, it went down to first cousins. And that was everywhere. That was across the United States. Now, there was a question about Devil Anse Hatfield. There's been a question about Devil Anse Hatfield on his Y DNA. Now, I know I always go back to DNA, and there's a reason why. Sheila and I have information, whether it's relevant, whether it's good, pertinent, 100% correct, we don't know. But through the years, and it's just like the story on Ellis and Hatfield. Stephen and Debbie that lived there at Sarah Ann, they were as knowledgeable. Stephen was as knowledgeable as, and I know Stephen used to talk to Dwight Wimpson, the editor of the newspaper up there a lot. He talked a lot of Dwight, and I'm sure he's told Dwight the same stories that he's told Sheila and me, and another Hatfield fella. But you know, Stephen's the one about Ellison. He knew Ellison Hatfield's life. He knew what Ellison did about being the father of Cotton Top and his cousin Harriet. He knew about Cap Hatfield and how mean, and he told us stories on top of stories on that. And we believe what he said, but it wasn't just Stephen. It's been other people throughout the years. We've got all kinds of people that gives us information. Some of them don't want to be known, but some of them's very smart. They're family members, their grandfathers, their fathers, whatever may have been involved in the feud or related to somebody in the feud. They gave us a lot of information. Now, to move this video along, at one time it came out, they were doing a study, just these DNA people as a hobby, as something to do. They said, hey, let's do a DNA on Devil Anse. Let's see where his DNA takes us. And they started following it, and Devil Anse's DNA, from what they tell me, is Y DNA. Y DNA only comes from father to son, to son, to son, and so forth, like that, father to son.
Male
DNA, a Y. Devil Anse's Y DNA come back to another surname. And that's why, since then, I have always asked, and this lady put it on one of the Facebook pages, and they kicked her off when they told about their group and how they're a bunch of DNA specialists and so forth, and they were asking questions. Well, daggone, that West Virginia Facebook page lit up. People didn't want to hear anything about their fearless leader, the legend. So they were asking for contributors. They were asking for children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren to be tested DNA so they could follow the Y DNA. Now, not only would that take you back to Devil Lance and tell you his DNA or whether it was somebody else, does these people's DNA show up as a Hatfield, or does it show up as this other surname that came up, which would have been relevant because that would have been a name in that family that means something went on wrong, but it could have happened back in those days. So that's why we are always, especially me, asking for DNA, because that's a surefire way to clear something up, to make sure that they're who they say they are, make sure that they're related to who they say they are, and make sure that if they're claiming to be Devil Lance's relation, that it shows up. Is he a Hatfield or is he another surname? Over here is what we put on that video that time, and this is a paper. She'll just take a close-up because we're not going to do a bunch of editing today. If you get a chance, just Google states that allow first cousins to marry, and that list will come up. See if your state's on there. See how funny that is, that in the old days people made fun of Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, and all these states. It's illegal in these states to marry your cousins now, but in California, Ohio, some of these other states that makes fun of Kentucky and West Virginia, they can still do it. Anyway, I hope this clears things up a little bit on the inbred. I didn't bring that question up just to make a video on it. That question, if you'll Google Hatfields and McCoys on Google, that question will come up down through there. And I don't know who posted it or why they posted it, but we figured we'd answer it. There's a good way to do. And the only questionable person that's ever been out there as far as the DNA, or as far as a question as far as breeding, would be Devil Lance Hatfield. And the only way to clear that up is through his great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren and so forth. They can clear that up with simple DNA tests. Do you have something?
Also, yesterday or the other day on the video, we said that Cap's wife was married.
I did. I said that.
But it is Nancy.
Yeah, that's my fault.
I wanted to clear that up.
After,
guys. Sorry, I didn't catch
we
it.
Put it out. No, she didn't catch it, and we both know Cap's wife. I don't know who we think. I think we was thinking of I know who. I think we was thinking about George.
Okay.
George's grandmother. Guys, Sheila will do the closing here. We can still do that part even if we're on a phone.
Good morning, guys. I hope you're having a great morning. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll catch you on the next one.